One take for the afternoon trivia recap for the second afternoon trivia rounds of May. This is May 12th. Last week was for the Cinco de Mayo edition of afternoon trivia. Am I loud enough for you, Duck? Duck, we missed you at afternoon trivia today. Sorry you couldn't be there. I'm sure you were power walking. All right. Just when you think afternoon trivia can't get any more exciting, can't get any more dramatic, today happens. Today, we entered the day with Andy 8010 carrying a 45 game winning streak into today. Everyone knew it. Talked about it in the afternoon trivia announcement video today at the lovely Bear Scott Stadium. And last night, I said to Chris Shorty, you might want to be there tomorrow. Andy's got a big streak, and he's a little fearful of you, so do what you can to show up. She said she'd try. All right, so today we started out with about 10 people hanging out from the get-go, including a newbie, Tim 1965, who was in there, and I thought this guy was going to start playing. I thought he was ready for trivia. Right as we started the round, he bounced out. But right before the round, he was talking a little bit, Tim 1965, and someone else is talking, and that guy was Mr. Met. And before the first game even started, it was Mr. Met picking up a technical to continue his run of many technicals over the last couple of months in afternoon trivia, setting records, unofficial records. Round one, 1994 film titles trivia. And guess who shows up? Chris Shorty. She was in there, and the tension was very, very high. You knew something great was going to happen, and we started the game. I think Andy got off to a 1-0 start, and then right as I said 1994 film titles, Chris says Forrest Gump. Wouldn't that be funny if the next question was Forrest Gump, and it was Forrest Gump for the next question? And in this round, it was a close one to start things. Remember, we closed out last week with that song titles trivia, 1978 or something, and we had the C-Town had Andy on the ropes, down 4-2. A Boulay was in there as well. He got to like 4 points. Andy and not C-Town, EMG at 4 points. Andy crawls back to keep that streak alive, and then we picked up right where we left off last week with another tight one. And in this game, it was Andy 8010 who was able to win the game. I think it was Chris Shorty with 3 points, someone else with 2 points, extending his record afternoon trivia streak to a startling 46 games. That's for you, Bear Scott. 4-6 defense. So we went to the next round, and it was one of you guys' favorites, company slogans. I stuck with my set list. The company slogans for round two. Here we go again. Another tight, very, very tight game. And I'll tell you what, guys, this one, it was similar to the one last week, the EMG, the one EMG couldn't close. Chris comes in roaring. She's up, she's got 4 points. Andy gets to 4 points. We got a double steal on the board. Can Andy run it to 47 straight? The question was for company slogans. The question for company slogans was, when you care enough to, whatever the company slogan is, when you care enough to send the very best, I think it's the company slogan. Chris Shorty must have sent some Mother's Day cards this weekend because she got it. It was Hallmark to close it out, and it was Chris Shorty coming in, delivering, winning 5-4. Chris Shorty comes in with a dramatic victory, company slogans trivia, and she snaps and ends Andy's 46-game record afternoon trivia streak. There was a long pause for a Jeopardy standing ovation for Andy's achievements, but it was Chris Shorty delivering the death blow. Andy was asked how he felt about this. He didn't talk a whole lot, and apparently there's a little something going on there. He said he'd rather have John win. He'd rather have John break his streak. I don't know what's going on there. I had no idea there was a rift there, but that's how it went. And so the rivals, Chris, congratulations for that. Last time, Andy's 39-game record streak was broken by Abe Boulay. This time it's Chris Shorty. Round 3, 1977 song titles trivia. I told you guys to look out for this one today. And sure enough, there it was early on the set list. And in this game, we had, well, looky here. Guess what happened? During the game, it was, at least early in the game, Coach Nelly comes in. Coach Nelly gets a point. And then I threw Coach Nelly a game ball for getting his first point in afternoon trivia in a while. Coach Nelly makes an Odell Beckham Jr. one-handed grab, he says. It's true. It was a one-handed Odell Beckham Jr. grab. As he's using that one hand, as he uses that one hand to make the one-handed catch, he uses his other hand to type to get an answer, to nail another answer in 1977 song titles. An incredible concentration on the play by Coach Nelly. If you guys weren't there at Afternoon Trivia and missed that, I am sorry. And not only that, it was Bee Gees too. It makes it even better. He answered the Bee Gees question. All right, so that was even more incredible. How Deep Is Your Love? That was the one. And then it was Coach Nelly. After that, the rest of the crowd there was nothing they could do, and they were intimidated, and it was Coach Nelly winning the 1977 song titles trivia, capturing his first afternoon trivia victory in a while, which netted him another game ball. All right, we went with 1979 song titles. Since that was a good game, we went with 1979 song titles. And early on in this one, we had the 1979 top 5 hit, number 2 on the charts, Working My Way Back to You by the Spinners. And then it was, I think John got that one right. And so because of the John Edwards death yesterday, the tenor for the Spinners, we had a moment of silence for John Edwards passing away, the lead singer of that song, Working My Way Back to You. And so we then had a very close game. Andy trying to climb back into it. It was 4-4. It's the second game already that we had four. We had double steal on the board, and it was Johnny D winning the game 5-4, closing it out, and in the words of No Hit Nelly, calling this a surgical strike that John applied on Andy to win. This is the first time, ladies and gentlemen, that we've had 4 consecutive to start afternoon trivia, 4 different winners in afternoon trivia, and this has not happened in a very long time. All right, Proverbs trivia was the next one. We went with Proverbs trivia, and on this game, it was Andy 8010 getting back into it, getting the victory, and able to close this one out 5-2. A nice win for Andy 8010. And then what happened? We went with, this was one that I scratched out. I had an MLB something in there. I decided to go with NBA points per game leaders, yearly leaders. All right, so we had the Iceman was in there, George Gervin. We had Kevin Durant in there. We had Noel OMB, however you say that guy's name. And it was to close it out for NBA scoring leaders. Forget who the final player was, but Andy again for his 3rd victory and his 2nd in a row, winning the game. Another double steal was on the board here, 5-4. The 3rd 5-4 victory today in afternoon trivia. So many tight rounds. A new streak is going. I was going to scratch round 7 out and try a different genre, but I stuck with it. This is one we had before, but it's been a while. Bruce Springsteen song titles trivia, and this was a pretty quick round, and it was Johnny D with another victory, his 2nd of the afternoon, pulling it out 5-2, doing a good job, even though he missed Johnny 99 off the Nebraska album. Not a good look there, John. Come on, you gotta familiarize yourself with that song, the live version as well. All right, Chain Restaurants trivia was our closer for the big cash prizes. Who was going to get it? Chain Restaurants trivia. We had Andy's frozen custard on there for it. All right, we had In-N-Out Burger was on there, and the closer was Dippin' Dots. And getting Dippin' Dots was Andy 8010, who, despite having his record snap today, he was able to close out the day with a 1-game winning streak to carry in to the next afternoon trivia rounds. And it was just a hell of a day for afternoon trivia. Let's look at the present and accounted for. We'll do it right now. And it was Andy 8010 was the big story going into today with a 45-game winning streak. He tacked one more onto that streak to make it 46. That is now the record. 46 straight. He got 3 wins today in afternoon trivia. Hell of a job. DNR was in. That's all I can say. DNR was here. EPCX was here. That's all I can say. JG53 AOL was here as well. The JG53 AOL, very interesting twist today. During the company slogans trivia and a little bit after that, JG53 running a little unofficial trivia himself, kind of getting into the company slogans thing, typing his own question with some slogans, and Chris playing along with him, as were a couple others. I like it, JG. Way to go. A little competing dueling trivia during afternoon trivia. JG53 going a little UFL on me today. Trying to start his own little thing there and compete head to head. That's ballsy. Good job, JG53 AOL. That's almost worth a game ball. Mr. Met was in today, and Mr. Met was unable to get any points or anything, but he did pick up. This is how I scored, guys. So he picked up 3 technicals, and when I circle it like that, that means there were 2 technicals that sent him to the shower. So 3 technicals, 1 shower visit. So just a typical afternoon trivia performance for the beloved Mr. Met. The Shawkinator was just in the room, nothing else. All right, he was a little busy today. Tim, 1965, I talked about him. He was in before. We thought maybe he would start playing. He's a newbie, and then he left right as the game started. He's definitely a hider. All right, profile created like 10 days ago. Come on, guys. All right, Johnny, great job today, John. This is what happens when you continue to just take swings, grind away, do your chin-ups and your other exercises, and just be resilient in trivia. Great job today. 2 wins for Johnny today. Hell of a job. Check out that Johnny 99 by Springsteen and the E Street Band on the 2012 tour. Okay? It's a good version. All right, Johnny, did I say 2 wins to the hider? John, 2 wins today. Good job. All right, and then we had Chris was really the big story today. Got the 1 win. Got a big win. I felt like she could have done more than that, but because she stuck around. But you know, that's huge. Breaking the streak today was the big story. And all right, so good job, Chris. And then Coach Nelly getting 1 win as well, and also picking up 2 game balls. Very surprising. I mentioned him in the announcement video. Maybe coach today. Like, this weird feeling. Mikey, Florida. All right, Mike. You're becoming a regular in afternoon trivia. When will you get your first point in game ball? All right, you got to start doing something. Stacy, I'm gonna see Stacy get a point sometime. Stacy was in on shower duty. She was busy with one shower round for Mr. Met. She was delivering him the trial size of the Pert Plus. So thanks to Stacy for your shower duties. And FJRS coming in late. FJRS telling me that he's got a whole closet full of goodies like snacks and Oreos and stuff. Lay off that junk food. Lay off that junk food. Except the goldfish, FJ. I'm with you on that. All right. The story of afternoon trivia today was the streak being extended and then broken. High stakes drama. 3 games that ended with a double steal on the board and then 1 person closing it out. Beginning today with 4 different afternoon trivia winners. Incredible, spreading the wealth around. Andy with the 3 wins. Andy had 4 wins today. Andy had 4 wins today. It's amazing. He won half the games, even though the whole thing was like his streak got broken, yet he still wins half the game. So great job by Andy today. All right, and then Johnny D, great job. But the story was really like, you know, in all these different categories. We had 3 music categories. We had 1 sports category. We had a miscellaneous one with the chain restaurants. We had an English one. All right, so mostly entertainment with the film titles today. But the contestants, who I bag on a lot, I got to give a lot of credit today to the contestants. They were the stars today. It was a collective effort by everybody. Incredible job. Round 8 was our big cash prizes round, and the big cash prizes were, we went back to actually having some good cash prizes this time. A was Bo's Tenders. All right. B was the cauliflower pizza, frozen pizza. I think I had that one on there last week. This one was not. C was homemade tacos. This is one that's been on there. Was on there a couple weeks ago, and it was on the Ocean One for All Marbles back on April the 29th. So that's kind of been lingering out there. And then Captain D's was D. That one was picked a couple weeks back. Yeah, it was picked a couple weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. Captain D's, and I was thinking, since Andy won the thing. I was thinking he'd go with like A or D. He did not. It was kind of a surprise. Okay, and I was cool with either one of these, but he did not go with the cauliflower pizza. I went with this, so that's our thing today. I made tacos, and he was advising me to go to Publix to get the ground beef. No way in hell I'm going to Publix, even if I was going to run into FJ there. No way I'm going to go there and pay $9.99 for a pound of ground beef. Hell no. It's Food Lion is the place to be for meat, Andy. All right, get that through your head. Tonight's feature presentation was this was picked by Darth Raider earlier. Darth Raider winning the One for All the Marbles and picking Ordinary Guy 1979, saying, "Give Fred Heron a chance." So, and then I said, "Did you look up this on IMDb?" He said, "No." Called BS, because that's like the only site on the internet that has this information. Directed by Fred Heron. In fact, the IMDb listing of Ordinary Guy 1979 was put on there by yours truly, General Peters, several years ago, because it was not on there. It is such a rare movie. It's a Christian film. But this guy this is the only thing he directed and produced in his life. So this is kind of on its own island. All right, it's not. And there's the Bill Muir Christian films. There's the Rich Cristiano films. There's some others, Mars Hill stuff. But this is kind of its own little world, and it's a very, very interesting. It's a very interesting film. I first saw it at the video store on VHS years ago. Rented it a few times. Should have bought that VHS, but it's free and available on YouTube. A VHS rip, and no commercials whatsoever. Completely in the public domain. It was put out by some like Sun Film or some weird thing, and it's a strange one. Starring Richard Foster as Guy, and Maggie Doyle as Donna, his fiance, and then you have Robert Campbell as Donna's father. He's a pretty solid actor for someone who never acted before. Wendy Oldenburg is Frida, the sister of his fiance, and then you have David Gotas as the preacher, and then I had to add one of the Latin gang members, Mario Teles as Jesus. And this movie has all actors who have not acted in anything else in their lives, yet they do a solid job. I mean, every single actor was in nothing else, with the exception of David Gotas, who was in one other film, and that was 1982's Against All Hope, one of my favorite films and a must-watch of the spring season of movie watching. It is the first film with Michael Madsen, his first film, so he's also a preacher in that. So David Gotas, it's nice to see him again. Great pick by Darth Raider. The film I've not talked about much, but it is worth checking out. It's a little strange, it has a weird ending to it, and the guy popping out of his grave. But that's tonight's feature presentation, and that's the afternoon trivia wrap up for May the 12th, 2025. I don't know how we top that after today, guys. Incredible job, incredible performances. Rivalries have been kind of tightened now, and so I think it sets up things for the next rounds of afternoon trivia. We're going to go rapid fire. We're going to bring back we need to bring back some of our heavy hitters, because it's intense enough with this group right here. But some of you guys, where was KB92? Where was A Boulay? Where was Duck? Where was Free Jack? Come on, some of you guys need to come back in there. Teddy Ballgame, you guys are getting a little ridiculous here. NY Man, come on back. All right. Okay, that's it for the afternoon trivia recap. And the next video is going to be the food puppy dog pickup. Thanks for playing afternoon trivia, guys. Peace.